Vikings fan, their free agent moves being not offensive line where they need it, but being secondary defense in the cornerback and the safety position.
Well, here's the thing. 70% of teams in the NFL have a below average offensive line. Okay, and that doesn't make any sense because average is average, but in the historical aspect of it, you're not going to get an offensive lineman in free agency unless you overpay, and the Vikings aren't in a cap space or a cap position to overpay for anybody right now.
Example, center, former Packer Lindsey
again,
going over
I love
the
Corey
Chargers.
Linsley, but for the price that he went to, I can see why the Packers felt like they were never in on him.
3 years, $86 million.
I mean,
that's
a
lot of money, a big cap hit to take for a center.
Well, again, the cap is always weird because remember, a lot of that could be in signing bonus and guarantees, which doesn't actually hit the cap.
Yeah.
Well, also just look at the market. Look at who we've been targeting and who's out there. Cornerbacks are out there because they're average for longer, and that's a reason not to draft them. Like, stop drafting cornerbacks early, draft offensive linemen, take a risk on them, find these younger...
what about that Gladney guy?
Well, remember what I kind of talked to you about with, like, Indianapolis here? People thought that they were idiots for taking Quentin Nelson, a guard, at 6 overall. And when they asked Chris Ballard, their GM, who actually is a really good GM, has really kind of stabilized that organization from what it was. He kind of said, well, he's the only guy in the draft that I really felt like had the best chance to be a Hall of Famer. So I took him.
And he turned...
Well, and again,
Indianapolis is
3
up
years
there.
or something, 2 All-Pros and 3 Pro Bowls. So it's not like he was wrong.
One of the best offensive lines in the league.
Indianapolis is known as the best offensive,
it's
or
right.
one of the best offensive linemen.
Young.
They're good.
Obviously, you're going to have to pay him soon here when he's this good.
Literally, I was about to say is you're going to have a problem when they're all their contracts come up, and now you got to start paying them.
But that's a problem that every team faces. So
but if
when you have good players, you eventually have to pay them.
Basically, if you want an offense lineman, draft him out of Wisconsin.
Well, Nelson came out of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame too.
Yeah.
Get those beer and brat fed.
The Iowas, the Wisconsins, Notre Dames, Ohio State,
Minnesotas.
I wonder if he grew up from the Midwest, though.
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah. All right,
or at least his parents.
I'm going to go ride on a horse over there.
Go head over to Indianapolis or South Bend or wherever his parents are from.
All right, so moving on. NCAA tournaments, plural.
Not the female version. Except those are happening now.
Yeah, basketball is happening now too. Men's basketball today. Fucking Florida State fucking loses to Michigan. Fucking assholes. What other game? What game are you guys?
I do think Michigan's going to either be in the finals or the Final Four at least.
Well, I think Alabama's losing right now.
To UCLA?
Yeah.
God.
11.
Fucking damn it, I knew I should have put that
Personally, I kind of hope this happens just to ruin James's.
Well, that's
fuck it,
right?
James is already mad. Let's just double down.
God damn it. So, I asked Brian this question yesterday. Erik, Pac-12, probably the least respected conference in men's basketball this year. The Big Ten got the most representation.
Well, they always do.
In the tournament. But the Pac-12... I mean, UCLA was a play-in team for 11th seed, and right now they're UCLA, leading number
Oregon,
2 Alabama. Oregon State won last night.
Oregon State's in the Elite Eight. Oregon will play tonight.
Oregon
will
play USC tonight.
Again,
USC's in there.
Fight on, USC.
No, Pac-12 is stepping up in this tournament. Big.
Yeah, I don't know if they were just overlooked here or if they're just playing well, just have good matchups. I don't know what
Oregon State had to win the Pac-12 tournament just to get in, and that's what they did.
And now it's like what we talk about in hockey. Always be where the hot team running in. So
now Oregon State as a 12 seed is in the Elite Eight. They took down Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean yesterday. Pretty good game. It was pretty tight for a while. Yeah.
Didn't UCLA also have a playing game as well?
Yeah, they played Michigan State. Yeah. They played Michigan State to get into the tournament as an 11 seed.
Yeah, so I mean they've had a longer journey than anybody else, and
They played one game extra.
Well, they showed all the playing teams who had made Final Fours here, like VCU all those years.
Yeah.
Syracuse did. They named like 5 of them right here on the graphics on the game. So
I do have to say I was honestly sad that Oral Roberts could not pull off that last second shot.
Oh yeah, they lost by 2 to Arkansas yesterday.
Yeah, I don't expect Arkansas to go very far after this.
The 15 seed Oral Roberts that took down Ohio State. They took down who else? It doesn't matter. They took down teams way higher than them in a Power 5 conference, and Oral Roberts refused to go down until yesterday, where they lost to the Razorbacks of Arkansas.
And then they finally blew it.
Yeah. They choked.
Did go down.
They choked on it. And,
any other oral sex joke you want to make, they blew it. They went down. They choked. They had to pick the hair from their teeth.
Sorry, I gagged on
anything else. But Loyola Chicago, I think, still has the hearts of America as the underdog team, even though they were number 8. They took out number 1 Illinois, which fucking pissed me off because I had Illinois in the Final Four how many fucking times?
I think we all did.
Like, God.
Yeah, I think a lot of us had. Again, I wish I could say like my bracket was so crazy. Like when it comes to the Final Four, it's not. I think that most of them had all the number 1s in there.
Remind me never to do a fucking bracket in a fucking pandemic year ever again. When it's all
next time the pandemic comes up here, yeah.
When it's all in conference play. Tell me,
by the way, it was going to be a crapshoot.
Tell me, by the way, to pick the fucking Pac-12 over the Big Ten because that's what's coming through.
Well,
but
Pac-12 usually, well, I won't say Pac-12. Big Ten, there's so many teams in it, and they all just disappoint in the first round. Like every year.
Ohio State lost in the first round. Illinois lost in the second round. Like, who else for the Big Ten lost in the first round? Wisconsin beat UNC in the first round, lost in the second round.
I mean, Michigan State
caught North Carolina on their heels.
Iowa lost in the second round.
Purdue lost in the first round.
Purdue lost to University of Northern Texas in the first round.
That'll happen.
Maryland lost in the second round.
Rutgers lost in the second round.
Yep.
And then Michigan State lost their playing game before the first round. So
and Michigan won by 18.
God fucking damn it. Fuck Florida State. Never ever am I going to go to Florida again. Fuck them.
Why would you go in the first place?
Disney World.
Yeah, I guess.
Other than the men's basketball tournament going on right now, there's also the men's hockey NCAA tournament going on. University of Minnesota Duluth winning last night in 5 overtimes against the University of North Dakota. What are they called now? The Fighting Hawks.
Yep.
North Dakota, they're out. See you later. First time in NCAA championship tourney history that all 5 Division I teams in Minnesota made the tournament.
Yeah, Bemidji, Mankato State.
Bemidji took down number 1 seed Wisconsin in the first round. Lost yesterday to UMass, University of Massachusetts. Minnesota Duluth took out North Dakota. They took out Michigan without
shots in that game.
They took out Michigan without even playing them because Michigan got the PNC going on. So NCAA tournament rules is if you have a positive case, you're automatically out. No ifs, ands, or buts. Which I like. That way we don't have to fucking delay this shit.
Mankato just scored again.
Mankato State. Minnesota State Mankato is currently playing the Minnesota Gophers right now and up to nothing. Gophers are usually recently have been a slow starting team, so I would say Eric, are you alright?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, gotta love those seasonal allergies, eh? Or whatever the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not the big C, because he already got tested, so it's not the big C. So the Gophers, I wouldn't put it past them that they make this game even by the middle of the second period. So they're a fast-scoring team once they get their flow going. They beat fucking Omaha you got to realize they played last night, and they beat Omaha 7-1, 6-1, something like that. So there you go. 4 out of the 5 Minnesota teams are still in it because Bemidji State and their fucking Beavers couldn't beat the University of Massachusetts Minutemen. So there you go. I'm going to ask you guys right now quickly, best players to spend their whole career with one team, regardless of sport. Obviously, the Jeters and the Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan had
Kobe,
2 teams.
Yep.
Fine, Kobe Bryant and the Jeters of the world pop into your head.
Yep.
Viking legend Brett Favre.
And I'm going to say in modern era, because remember, there used to be a time where players couldn't leave teams. Like back in the day here, like the Hank Aaron's and all that. There was no free agency or anything. You were either traded or cut. So that's why I'd go Derek Jeter or Kobe off the top of my head, like you said.
Okay, so Minnesota specific.
Oh, Minnesota specific?
Joe Mauer.
Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, probably Kirby Puckett. Yep, Kirby Puckett.
That'd be my take.
Could have been Mikko Koivu if he didn't sign that fucking 3-month contract with fucking Columbus. But I get it. He wanted to play, and the Wild wanted to get younger, but it's whatever.
Well, he's retired now, so...
Yeah, well, he still played 3 months with Columbus, so it doesn't count. He played for another team. But I saw this trending on Twitter, and it made me think, instantly Joe Mauer was my thought of Minnesota
Kirby
walk-up.
Puckett, so...
Well, because he won a World Series.
2,
sorry. But, yeah.
And he's
otherwise, someone maybe Alan Page, the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, there's so many...
Frank Tarkenton.
There's so many...
Fran Tarkenton had a second team.
Oh, did he?
I think he played with the Jets for a little bit.
Yeah, there's so many players that trade or move around teams nowadays, even into the 80s and 70s. It's hard to find somebody that's stuck it out with one team. How about Mike Trout now? Yeah.
By far.
Good,
one of the best players.
Best player of our generation, so.
Yeah, he's probably going to be an Angel his whole career.
Well, that can change.
Will probably never win a World Series. Will go into the Hall of Fame as one of the best generational players in baseball that has not won the World Series.
Well, Griffey Jr. never won it.
Yeah, and he was probably one of the best players in a generation, but he didn't stick with one team. So there you go. Mike Trout, he knows his niche, and that's Southern California. That's not Los Angeles. That area south of Los Angeles, but north of San Diego, that's his fandom right there. He's figured that out. How about Chris Bryant? If he doesn't get traded,
he'll sign somewhere else, I think, too. So
where do you think Chris Bryant's going to go?
Well, the Mets are pursuing him pretty hard, as well as the Nationals. So those are possibilities.
How about the Dodgers to replace Justin
Turner?
Turner?
He's a West Coast guy. Well, they locked up Turner for a couple of years.
Yeah, easily can trade him to somebody like Colorado who's desperate for a veteran.
Yeah, they want to trade him in the division.
All right, that's too much baseball talk, but there you go. I will say your best current player or recent history with one team. I'd say Mike Trout 1, Joe Mauer 2. No, Derek Jeter 2, Joe Mauer 3. Recent history. In our era, being able to watch them on TV.
I'd say Derek Jeter, especially if you're talking baseball, Derek Jeter 1.
Well, because he finished his career, with one team.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say most exciting player to watch, 5-tool player, Mike Trout.
It's still a little early to call that because remember, something to remember is a lot of these guys' career aren't over. A lot can happen. People didn't think Jordan would play with anybody other than the Bulls. He did.
Who else did he play for?
The Wizards.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, as soon as you said it. Man, I wish KG stayed here for his whole time.
No, that wasn't going to happen.
No.
I know. I really wanted him to go get an NBA championship because he deserved it, and I'm glad he got one with the Celtics. And that he shouted out Minnesota in his championship, on the court. What would you call it? Spasm.
Where anything is possible.
Where anything is possible. And he goes, "This is for everybody back in Minnesota, except for Glenn Taylor, and this is for everybody who deserves it back in Minnesota. And I'm like, KG, you're my shit. Fucking the big ticket, man. He's mad.